Namaste. Hi guys. I'm Mr. Golis. Some of you guys know me, some of you guys don't, and I just wanted to welcome you to AP Physics for the year. Today is just an easy day. It's just all I want you to do is watch this introduction video where I'm going to talk about the course and the expectations and a little bit about me and so on. And then I just want you guys to get on Explore Learning, where the gizmos are, and I'm sending you the code for that, and that's all you have to do for this first day. So we'll keep it easy this first day. Again, like I said, some of you guys know me. All right, I like to lay it back as much as possible. That's only so possible in AP Physics. All right. This is the board when we're doing distance learning. I will use this chalkboard. It's an old chalkboard I have in my house. It's not, obviously, because distance learning isn't the best. All right, so, but this seemed to work last year. I got a little bit better camera than last year and stuff. So, I will actually, when we are doing synchronous learning, solve problems on this. I will take your questions and, try and answer them on this at times. At other times, I'll just use Screencastify to go over the Google Slides on various subjects like kinematics and Newton's laws and things like that. So, that's basically the format for distance learning. And hopefully this won't be too long. We'll be face to face pretty soon, hopefully, because that is a heck of a lot more ideal. All right. Okay, a little bit about the course. The first thing I want to say is this is statistically the hardest AP course that there is, even more so than if you go by exam results than calculus. Okay, I don't want to scare you away, and I don't want to scare you with that in any way, but I do want you in serious mode. All right, you guys should be pretty set up for this because you guys are the first class in this high school to take AP Physics after actually having taken an actual physics course. Okay, in the past we didn't do that, and students would take AP Physics as their first physics course, and then they would struggle because it's faster paced. But you guys, having a background, having taken honors physics last year, you guys should do a bit better. All right, so that's the deal with that. All right, anywho. What's the course is going to be like? Well, because you have taken a physics course, we're going to skip all the fluff, all right, that we have to teach in honors physics. So we're not doing the significant figures, and we're not doing scientific notation, scientific method, foolish stuff like that. Because why? Because you know it already. All right, if you're in AP Physics, you know the scientific method. All right, and if you don't know it, well then, make sure you're up on it, because one of the questions that will be on the exam, one of the what are called free response questions, is going to be a design and experiment question. So make sure you're up on that sort of thing. All right. We obviously will be doing that stuff throughout the year, but to make sure you're up on it. But you need to be up on that ahead of time. Okay, and that is why I asked you in the summertime. I sent you guys all emails and asked you to get on my classroom. I sent you the classroom code and asked you to buy the the Princeton guide. Okay. And I asked you to buy the Princeton guide, and I asked you to look over the first chapter and do the practice exam. All right, and then just kind of send me your results, just so I know that you did it. Frankly, it's not like we're going to scrutinize that exam, not yet. All right, it's kind of tough to do via distance learning. All right, but I wanted to make sure that this stuff was starting to get back in your brain so that we can just start right off. We're going to start off with vectors, so that'll be like the first lesson. So make sure you read the Princeton guide on that, and so on. Since we are doing distance learning at the beginning, when we have to do distance learning, I want to say this. This course is a lot more of it is put on you. Okay, because I can't be there in the way that a physics teacher kind of needs to be there, okay, while you're learning this stuff or practicing for this stuff. Okay, so that's a disadvantage. But I did put a video on Classroom that I expect you guys to watch. It's like a 5-minute video of some kid who was taking AP Physics a few years ago, and he talks about how his teacher was going slow because the teacher was teaching to the slowest kids in the class and wasn't covering the material all that fast, and subsequently did not finish the curriculum, which is kind of tragic in an AP Physics course. But what he did was he realized that right away, and then he bought the Princeton Guide, which I will literally teach out of. Okay, the Princeton Guide, consider that to be your book for the year. All right. And he bought it, and he went through the Princeton Guide, and he did all the problems in it, and he did the practice tests, and he went online to the College Board site, and he looked at the old exam questions from previous years and did all of those, and he passed the exam just fine. All right, and that's another thing I want to say is, even though this is not like the easy exam, if you're on your game, I think everyone in this class should be able to get a 3 at least. Okay, so that's the deal with that. All right, if you're on your game. I also want to make just some or just kind of elaborate on what I expect of you. I expect that if you're in this course, you will decide to work. What I do, the person who I do not want in this course, and if you had me last year, you heard me say this, is I do not want a student who is in this course simply to pad their transcript and get AP Physics on their transcript, because that has happened in the past, and I do not like that. That's a waste of my time. All right, I actually get a bit offended at that. I do not want a kid coming in here to just put AP Physics on their transcript and then just kind of coast through the course and with no intention of passing this AP exam. That's just simply a waste of time. All right, and so if you are that person, then go see your guidance counselor immediately and transfer to some other easier course, all right? Because you don't belong here. This course is for serious students who actually want credit for passing this exam, okay? And I just want to make that clear, all right? I'm not trying to chase anyone away. I don't want to chase anyone away. I thoroughly enjoy teaching this course to students who want to be in this course. For those of you guys who know me, you know this about me, and for those who don't know me, let me talk about this. I have several degrees. The first one, my bachelor's degree, is actually in physics. Many teachers will go get a degree in education, which I just, whatever. That's not my bachelor's degree. My bachelor's degree is actually in the science of physics, right? So I got that. So it's something that, it's not the only interest in my life. All right, it's how I make my living, but it is an interest that I am kind of passionate about, and I do kind of keep up on. At the very least, I read like a physics book a year. Okay, on just something. All right, last year it was like on I was reading on Erwin Schrödinger, the famous quantum mechanical physicist, right? One of the fathers of quantum mechanics. And I do stuff like that. I try and continue my own education in this field, all right, as much as I can. I don't have a PhD. I'm not a professor, but that doesn't mean that I don't try and keep on learning as much physics as I can. And physics is the type of field, as is biology and chemistry, where you can keep going all your life with this stuff. There's more stuff. You will never learn all there is to know about physics. I don't think any one person is capable of doing that, all right, in an average human lifespan. So that's something that I continually try and do, all right. My own interest happens to be more in modern physics, which is either relativity or quantum mechanics, all right, which we will get into at the end of the course, all right. We're jumping right into vectors. I expect that you know vectors, all right. We're not spending a lot of time on these things. We kind of, the pace of the course is going to be fast. We need to finish the curriculum by mid-April, and we're already 2 weeks behind because of the late start in the year. So we're going to fly through things. Vectors should be easy, all right? You should know these from last year. I'm sure if you do read the Princeton Guide, and we'll go over it, it'll come back to you fairly quickly, okay? So that's the deal. And then we're going to jump into, I think the next thing is like linear motion, or something like that. I can't remember off the top of my head, because the way the events go in this course is slightly different than the way they go in honors physics, all right? And since I didn't teach this last year, I got to go back to the Princeton Guide to remember. It's like, oh, teach this next. But I think it's something like kinematics or something like that, what we're going into. But we're only going to spend a couple of days on vectors, and then we're moving, all right? Because we can't afford the time on that. So make sure you're keeping up. And then again, it's expected that if you are an AP student, that you do keep up, and that you are, not that I'm trying to drop anyone, but it's just expected that, if I am going fast for you, that you come in and see me. All right. Now, if we're doing distance learning, obviously we have the office hours, which are like, whatever. It's not as good as face to face, but it's better than nothing. And when we do go back to face, which is hopefully very soon, obviously there's your academic labs, and I am almost always available after school, unless I'm not a teacher that leaves here at 2 o'clock. I usually leave between 3 and 4 on any given day, except for Friday, because it's Friday, all right, and I like to get out of here on Friday. Although I am not going, if you need me and Friday's the only day that you can stay, then just ask me. I'm not going to say no to a student just because I want to go home on a Friday. All right. If you need me your parents pay me. All right. So if you need me on a Friday, and that's the only day that you could say, like, hey, Mr. Golis, can you stay on Friday? Yes, I can. That will be my answer to you. All right. The only thing is if I have some conflict, like a doctor's appointment, or I have to go pick up one of my own kids from practice or something. But other than that, that's the deal. You'll find that also I am here early in the morning. I get here at 6:30 in the morning when we're doing face-to-face, when we can. We'll see what face-to-face is going to be like this year. But under normal conditions, I'm here that early. And I'm just in my classroom getting stuff ready, doing stuff, grading, putting together lab equipment, whatever. So that's the deal with that. Okay. All right. So the course is fast-paced, and it's basically everything that you covered last year. The electricity part gets a little bit more advanced, okay? Not a lot more, but a little bit more advanced. And we also cover the topic of modern physics, which is basic relativity, Einstein's relativity, all right, and quantum mechanics, all right, basic quantum mechanics, okay? Because these subjects in real-world physics, if you become an engineer, not that you'd be studying as an engineer, or a physics major, are entire courses, all right? Quantum mechanics is an entire course, all right, at both the undergraduate and graduate level, and so is relativity. And they're basic, all right. So we'll do the basic versions of these things. Okay. A little bit about myself, all right. Just so now, those of you guys who had me last year, you know this. All right. So I have a degree in physics. But on the other end, I also have a degree in psychology, so I kind of like that too. I will, while we're doing the course, I will sometimes tell stories, all right? That's not me blowing off class, all right? Except, yes, Ethan Silverman, I know you're thinking of the time I did that last year, and you guys all fooled me on that, all right? So, but that's not going to happen this year. But if I do tell a story, it's usually an anecdote to kind of teach you something. All right. Since I do know something about psychology, I know that telling stories to people is actually a very good way to teach them. It's a very natural way to teach them. We tell stories to children, and they literally just start and listen. listening to you when you're telling them. And that's in their DNA to do that. All right, we are all interested in these things. So if I do kind of tell you an anecdote or a story, it's actually for a teaching purpose. So make sure you take it as such. All right. I did spend. I paid for my first degree with an ROTC scholarship. So when I got out of college, between my active duty time and my time in the Army Reserves, I did about 12 years in the Army. So there's that. All right. I was an officer, and what that means is I was basically kind of a mix of educated person, but also like ground pounder grunt. And what that means in the real world is, I do have a background. I have a bit of an education. I'm not the most educated. I don't have a PhD, but I have a bit of an education. But I'm also not afraid to get my hands dirty and fix things and put together experiments, break them down, things like that. Okay, so that's a little bit about me. All right, a little bit about the exam. It should be done. They should be giving it the first week in May. There are two parts to it. The first part for an hour and a half is I got to brush up on this. It's like 50 or 55 multiple choice questions. I don't have examples of those for you because the College Board doesn't release those. All right. So there's that. All right. Then the second half of the exam is 5 what are called free response questions, basically problems to solve. Okay. And there's a technique for that, and I'll teach that throughout the year. All right, so some of you guys are going to get a wake-up call with respect to how you solve problems, all right, in this class. For example, what I mean by that is, and take note, some of you guys, because I commented on your writing last year, neatness counts. If I can't read it, or if I cannot follow it, you don't get points for it. You don't get partial credit. The AP exam free response questions are anywhere from 7 points to something like 15 points that they're worth, okay? So some of them are easier and should take you about literally like 12 to 15 minutes to do. And I've been doing these. I do these every year. I do the latest questions like every year. And it is true. Some of these, so don't get thrown by, AP exam. No, some of these are actually not that hard, I'll tell you right now. And literally will take you like 12, 15 minutes to do. Others will take you 20 minutes to a half an hour, which you really have to budget your time on because you only have 90 minutes. You have an hour and a half to do the 5, okay? And you need to get as much partial credit on these things as possible. Part of that is writing neatly and clearly. So if your handwriting is not good, then you have to make it good. You have to work on that. If you're one of these people that solves problems by writing something over here and then something over there, and then I can't, and it's not like in a linear fashion, you're going to lose points. And the reason is because your parents are paying me to train you to get ready for this exam. And the AP grader, if you lose them, because I'm not going to grade these things, if you lose that, they don't give you the points. They're not going to waste time trying to decipher what you were thinking. You have to make it clear. Okay, whenever there are forces involved, you will do a free body diagram and make it clear. Okay, you will get 2 points for doing at least on any question just for putting the correct free body diagram down. Okay, and so to lose 2 points for not doing that is absolutely foolish. All right, so I will enforce that in this class. If a free body diagram is warranted, you must have it there. At the very least, you need to write down on every free response problem the law that is pertinent. So if it's a force problem, you need to write down the second law. You need to start with it. If it's an energy problem, you need to write down conservation of energy. The potential energy before is equal to kinetic energy afterwards, or vice versa. Or you need to write down work is equal to a change in, you need to write that stuff down. You need to start with the law and then start solving your problem. And if you don't do that, I'm taking off points because the AP grader is going to take off points. They will not award you points for it. All right. And we will look at that throughout the year. We will look at the old problems because they're posted, and also the grading scheme, or how the AP grader grades them, is posted. All right, so you'll see like 2 points for this, 3 points for this, 1 point for this, that sort of thing. Okay, and it's not hard. It's just really, I just find it's just a matter of just being thorough when you're solving the problems. So you're going to have to practice that all the time. All right, and again, not hard. It's just kind of a discipline thing. I'm solving a problem now. How do I do it? I write down the law. I write down a 3-by diagram. I start solving my problem. The good news, not a lot of math. I like that. Some people don't, but there's not a lot of math. In fact, many students who do this exam say they really didn't even need their calculator. When they throw in numbers, they're usually not difficult numbers, okay? They're usually not, all right? Now, I have found that the Princeton guide, when I was reading through it in the summertime, is excellent at explaining it. There's all these like tips in there, and they're pretty accurate from my experience. And my experience is what other students have told me after they're done taking the exam. Okay, so many have said, I didn't really even need my calculator, or I only used my calculator like twice, and it was pretty easy. Okay. And that's the deal. So that's kind of cool, right? So the math shouldn't be hard. Your algebra, however, should be impeccable, because they will ask you to solve equations, all right? So they'll ask you to solve for a variable or something. So you need to be able to do that well, all right? But you may not actually even have to plug in numbers to the equations that you solve. And that's the way that works in this exam. So, so the lack of calculator use, I think, is a good thing. All right, so that's the deal. All right, I think I pretty much covered an intro, what my expectations are, who I am, what the basic outline of the course is like, our distance learning equipment, and again, you'll find out that I'm kind of a mixture of old school and new school. All right, I am certainly not anti-technology. I will never, berate the next generation for, their phones or something like that. It's not what I do. All right, but I will teach you this, that sometimes the old school way is good too. All right, and that's and that's not. Anyway, so you'll see. I'm kind of a mix of old and new there. So, anywho, that's it. So all I wanted you to do today is watch this video and get on Explore Learning, and that's it. All right, so I'll see you guys probably virtually. I'll see you guys soon. All right, Golis out.